boom, you make selection. You're out there in Mexico, and you're like, this shit ain't really real. And then it's real. It's happening, right?
For the last 4 years, every time I've walked into a football stadium, I get weird feelings because I feel like I'm there to watch a fight to the death.
Since I've known Joe, I've watched hockey more, and that's violent.
Wow. Hockey is violent.
I tell you I'm on the road. About to get all this dough. Me and no fuck niggas know. I swear to God we the ghosts. This ain't the story they told. Man, if you know, then you know. I never had to tell my dogs that we on rough for greatness. They paper getters, they want money more than they want fame.
Welcome back to the Real O Show podcast. We have a couple special guests. One is a longtime friend, goes way back, trained us back in the day, is a wildcat. So this is good. This has been it's been a long time coming. We tried to get him on a couple months ago, kind of fell through, got busy, but we got Mark Phillips on, personal trainer, athlete, and then we also got Joe Haynes as well with him, who is his partner with Mission Elite. And I first want to get in before we kind of go into depth. What is Mission Elite, and what made you both want to start it?
Literally, it was during COVID, right?
Yeah.
We pretty much got together, and you saw us out at the field. We were training athletes that we knew from the job we were working at together is where we met at the at our old spot. And COVID hits. Next minute, we were just like, hey, we're bored. Joe was first working with a couple of the other hockey guys like Buzzy, and then Cruzy, and then he was like, hey, you want to come out? And I was like, yeah. And then we just started contacting people from there, and more people started coming out to the fields. We ran into you.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then we just let's just keep it going.
I remember the field workouts. With Mark, because everyone would go one time and they'd never fucking come back. They'd be like, Mark killed us, bro. I can't do that anymore.
Oh, you talking on the Sundays?
Oh, on the Sundays.
Yeah. Oh, that's going way, way back.
Oh, Sundays. I just remember those, bro. We'd go one time. We're like, all right. We were good, bro.
That was on Sundays.
Ass.
You had came once. That was
yeah.
mainly man, Josh, Kevin, that's going way back.
That's
early 2000s.
We go way back. That's
Literally.
the crazy thing. We're talking about time. When did you? I don't know if you remember. I don't even know if I remember. I was maybe a freshman in high school, I think.
Yeah.
When you first started training me, so I was 14 years old. I'm 25 now. It's a long time. It's a long time.
Bro, Mark still looks the same, too.
I know. You haven't aged one bit.
Yeah, dude. Mark
that's wild. You got good genetics.
That Jamaican bloodline,
You got
dude.
good genetics.
Keep
Yeah,
him
you
young,
gotta
dude.
have it. Everybody need a red stripe here and there.
For sure. But Joe, talk about Mission Elite, what it means to you. Obviously, you're a huge part of this, and obviously you kind of were the initial reason Mark kind of got brought in with the COVID workout. So talk about what it is to you.
Oh yeah. So Mark and I we were partners basically before we even started this. We trained at a previous gym, and we were there all hours of the day, got to know each other really well. Yeah. And some of the hockey guys we train were like, hey, we still got to train. COVID's not stopping the season.
Right.
So, yeah, I started meeting them at the field, and so I called my old buddy Mark, and he showed up next day, and yeah, we started there, and 3 times a week at the field, weren't charging anything. Just going out there because, like you said, we were bored.
Yeah.
And
this is very much a relationships game. That's what as more I realize it. It's just as much as we were talking about finances before, that's a very much relationship game. Working out, relationship game. I'm sure Mark, at your old spot, I remember everyone came because of you. I remember bro, they were like, Mark, bro, I'm not even trying to pull feathers. I'm being real. Everyone was like, Mark. And when I would go into train that day, I'm like, yo, if Mark's not training me, bro, I don't even want to be here. I don't want to. What are we talking about? You know what I mean?
It was true. It was true. Obviously, there was a time when, Mark wasn't there when I was there. So, but it's good. But Mark, I want to kind of go back into a little bit.
I know, right? You got mad. I'm still here and he gone?
Listen, guys, for anybody who's listening or watching, obviously there's some hidden secrets here that we're talking about that we're uncovering.
But it's okay.
But it's okay. It's good. It's all about the story.
We just go way back.
We obviously, I've known Mark for over a decade, so it's definitely deep.
Yeah, literally.
It's wild to think about sometimes. That's why I've been meaning to get you on. But I do want to talk about it because I think it gives you a ton of credibility, and it's also super interesting. Your love for rugby.
Oh man.
And and where that started and then obviously where it went to with the Jamaican national team. Obviously, you still play. So kind of talk me through that process because I don't even know if I fully know it.
And coaches too, and coach.
That's the funny part, because it was all football first. You know, like me and your bigger brother Derek, we went out to the fields a couple times, did some drills. Everything was football. You couldn't get me off the NFL Network. Nothing from it. But then out of nowhere, it was like you get an email, then a phone call. Some league was trying to start up, and then boom, next minute you know it's rugby. So I'm like, yeah, where do I sign up? They was like, you want to be a professional athlete? Where do I sign? That league didn't go through, and then, you know, you just keep training. Next minute you know it's like, all right, let's work out, keep going, keep seeing what you can do. They have these USA Atavis camps. And then it's like you go to a bunch of those, and then after you go to those camps, you literally, it's like one coach just got me in touch with Jamaica, and then I was like, all right, cool. Then it's home, you know, it's where I grew up in a sense. So you go back a couple times, you talk to the national coach there at the time, then it's like, you know, you just fly back when they tell you, hey, come on back for 2 weeks here, 2 weeks there. And then 2016, tried to get on, didn't get on the squad. Then next minute, you know, 2017, I got the call back because USA coach, who's now coaching in Ireland, he got me in touch with the recruiter, got my information put together, and then I was able to send that to him. And then next minute, you know, it's like, boom, you make selection. You're out there in Mexico, and you're like, this shit ain't really real. And then it's real. It's happening, right? And then next minute, you know, you got to go back home. You make selection for 2018 World Cup. And then you're like, holy shit. So, I mean, it's definitely been a journey. It's definitely been a journey.
What was the feeling, though, of actually doing that? Because it's hard when you're in those moments to, like, take a step back and be like, well, this is, like, actually happening.
During it? Shit, honestly. It was different, right? Sometimes you're thinking, like, holy shit, it's exciting. And at the same time, it's stressful because you're wondering, like, you got to perform. Are you going to perform? You know, because playing at that high level, it's
very stressful.
Stressful, and the pressure that you mainly felt was the pressure I put on myself, which somewhat stemmed from outside things that I personally didn't learn to control at the time. But when you look back at it, man, it was still fun, still in selection. You know, shit, like you said, over a decade. And I'm like, what, 36 now?
Yeah.
But still in selection, still fighting, still playing. So, I mean, now it's mainly just enjoying it, you know. One of my good buddies that I got to play with is like, just play for you and have fun while you're doing it, you know.
What do you think about the new, like, Sevens League that's coming to America? Have you seen that at all?
Oh, Premier Sevens?
Yeah.
It's awesome.
You like
I
that?
love it. I do love it. I do like it. I got a couple good friends out there playing, actually. One's playing for the experts. Corey Jones, good dude, phenomenal dude. The dude can ball. Got to play alongside him for a pro team called the Jockeys. Then, I mean, it's great that they're bringing in also international players, too, so you can see the difference in the levels of the competition, as well as you get your U.S.-based players playing against that type of level, that type of speed, that type of competition. So it's good to see. It's growing the game.
Yeah,
you know.
That's what I was gonna say. It kind of needs to, like, in America, because when you look about it, America, like, rugby is very new. Essentially.
Yeah,
like,
still,
I mean, in a sense, right? Like,
yeah, it's still new.
Like, you look at, like, Europe and stuff, like, they have old teams, tradition. So definitely interesting. You think it's gonna, like, catch on in America?
It's catching on. I think it'll catch on more because it's an Olympic sport, right? That's the pinnacle of it all.
You're right.
Right? Sevens being that faster pace, more games, more hitting, open space. You got guys that are crossing over from football into rugby.
Yeah,
and when you look at being able to speed, the catching, the cutting, and you can move and you can hit, it's going to catch on. It's a violent sport. We love violence, let's be honest.
Yeah.
That's why football is such a – they build these coliseums. That's
know?
funny you say that. I actually want both of your opinions on this. For the last, like, 4 years, every time I've walked into a football stadium, I get, like, weird feelings because I feel like I'm there to watch, like, a fight to the death. Like, it's like a coliseum. It's a coliseum. Do you guys get that same feeling or no? Or am I crazy?
I mean, I can see where it comes from. I mean,
like, it's a battle. It's a real battle.
I can see the violence in it, but I don't, like, honestly, since I've known Joe, I've watched hockey more, and that's violent.
Wow.
That is
Hockey is
violent,
violent,
and you really fighting.
Yeah.
You're seeing those fights. You go to that to see a fight. Football, I'm like, all right. To me, it's kind of gotten softer. I'm going to be honest.
For sure.
Football has gotten, you can't hit like you once could hit.
I mean, I forget who it was, but someone from Barstool put out like a highlight reel of like the good times of football, and it was like people getting murdered.
You know what I'm saying?
I mean, people getting absolutely murdered. So
Yeah, that wouldn't be allowed. But Joe, so you're a big hockey guy then?
Yeah, I was gonna say why hockey? How did you get? Like, did you play it? Were you in it? Like, tell us about that.
Yeah, I grew up playing hockey. Played a little AAA, and then
Where'd you grow up?
So I'm from Jackson County.
Oh, okay,
But
nice.
yeah, played in Detroit, out of Trenton, out of Jackson. But yeah, played my whole life. Played ACHA in Akron, and then so then I started coaching.
Yeah.
So I've always
hockey's
been a
in
part
your-
of it.
Yeah, everyone's got their favorites.
Yeah.
Everybody.
You had like Cruz in here, Babyak in here.
Yeah,
all those
yeah.
guys. So
Yeah.
definitely.
Yeah,
Those are the boys.
They got to run on the hockey guys.
Yeah.
But no,
Boys,
as we kind of wrap this up, and Joe, I want you to go first because I'm curious because I know where Mark's coming from because I've trained with him, but I haven't trained with you, so I really want to hear your opinion first. What does Mission Elite do differently than other gyms or other personal trainers? Because there is so many people doing workouts. Like, what separates Mission Elite from John Doe down the road?
Yeah, so I think it's like a combination of both of our knowledge and style that separates us from a lot of other people. Not saying there's not other great trainers, but we're two very different styles of training, and that both complement each other very well. We train, and it's a lot of people think it's weird, but yeah, all three planes of motion and specific to what you're trying to go for. So that's why we do so well with athletes. Like we're very, very motivated to get them to the next level as well. So
Got it. And what's the age group of people you're seeing? I imagine all over the place, but what is like the predominantly the biggest age group that is in here?
yeah, so like we train. Our youngest right now is 11?
Yeah.
11 years old, all the way to 80? 80 years
Damn.
old. So yeah, it's pretty good age range.
Who's the target? Like, who do you guys like get like really excited to train for? Obviously, like probably like the higher end athletes, or is it not? Or do you like the everyday? Like, what would like if you're in here, perfect day? You're like, it's a good day if I got a full stack of like bunch of like crews, pro
Yeah.
hockey guys, or is it like oh, I like when just the average Joe's in here and we get to just get them right. Like, what's the idea? And obviously you like obviously you like both. I'm not trying to like put you on the spot here. I know you guys like both.
We're gonna make sure we highlight this clip too.
I'm just saying. I'm gonna take this one out of context for you. No, I'm just kidding.
So-
But like, I'm just curious because like, I just think about like for me when I was I was like coaching hockey for a little bit, and I was like, I only wanted to coach people that gave the most fucks, that cared the most, because you just didn't care. Then it's like, why am I here? If your mom made you be here, I don't want to work with you.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was just going to say, is that, like, at least, like, I know speaking for me, my favorite is the person that's going to give 100%. It doesn't matter. And a lot of times those are your high-end athletes because they
Right.
have a goal.
Yeah, they're
That-
competing
yeah.
for something.
Yeah, they're still in competition. But sometimes it's a 73-year-old lady that golfs and she wants to play better. So
Yeah.
And
I
love
respect
that.
that.
yeah.
I
I
love
respect
that.
that.
So
But Mark, give your POV on Mission Elite, what you guys are striving for here, because obviously, and you can answer this after you kind of answer that first question, but also like, what's the end goal of this? But first, give your POV on like what you're training, what the goal is, what makes you different, and then what the end goal is.
I mean, it's pretty much you piggybacking off of what Joe said already. Is like our styles really do complement each other, which makes us different. Because you do have a lot of phenomenal trainers out there, but it's also the knowledge that we possess in our background, right? And the ability to train not just your average Joe, but your athlete as well, whether they're young or senior, in all three planes of motion while sticking to your traditional strength training at the same time. So, you're always getting better, and it's always allowing you to work within your everyday lives and everyday activities, So that's, I could say, literally, it just puts us in that realm where we're just that different. And what I always like to say is, hey, you get two for the price of one.
Yeah.
You know?
Do you guys like interchange a lot? Like if you go one time, you're like, oh, Mark, you got him next time, or is it like just kind of like work out where it's a little
everybody's
different?
together, right? It's like 2 and 2. I'm gonna show you 2. Joe's gonna give you 2. So
I
you're getting
gotcha.
2 styles at the same
I
time,
gotcha.
right? And it's literally how we always did it where we were at too, at the old place.
Yeah.
Because you would have like where we were at, you know, like this is our own. The gentleman we were working for, of course, had a bigger spot. So we would sometimes have 18, 19 people going, you know, all doing separate workouts for themselves, and it's like, hey, 2 and 2, 2 and 2, just so we could get to everybody, and it
Yeah.
kept that flow moving, right? You know, it wasn't like you don't have to really wait.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, you got 2 here, I got 2 there, and then it's just boom, 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 boom,
How many
boom.
people do you normally have in here at once?
When we had the rugby team, that was 15?
Yeah.
But that was like a group
Yeah,
session.
it's a group session.
But
yeah.
6 or 7 personal
sense.
training separately.
That makes
You
sense.
know,
Gotcha.
So,
So,
yeah.
so what's the end goal now?
growth. It's just growth, right? You keep it growing, sustainability. We get to see what we built just grow and constantly do better, right? You're constantly doing better. You're constantly growing, and then you can get to that point where we're both just like, hey, let's just sit back and let people run it while we, you know, we're still involed, but we're still
Yeah.
growing at the
So
same time.
the plan is to eventually bring in like more trainers.
Yeah.
You guys can have the more executive producing role. Just
Yeah.
kind of overseeing everything.
Yeah. You know, that's what you would believe and hope for, right?
Right. I mean,
love
That's the
that.
point of running a business, to where it starts to run itself.
Of course.
You know,
Of course.
so you're not having to get on the grind every day. You're editing 24/7.
For sure.
You know,
For sure.
It's true.
Do you guys have a website, social medias?
Yeah, yeah.
MissionEliteFitness.com.
Got it.
Mission Elite Fitness on Instagram and Facebook.
Awesome.
Love
So, I mean, if you're southeastern Michigan, really anywhere in that vicinity, check out Mission Elite.
And you want to get better.
Yeah, and you
'Cause
want to
you
get
should say
better.
that, bro.
If
You-
you want to get better, want to be here, you know, Mark and Joe, I can personally vouch for Mark. Haven't worked out with Joe, but if he's running with Mark, he's a good dude. I promise you guys. But check him out. Mark, Joe, appreciate you, coming on.
No, I appreciate you boys, man. It's always good to catch up.
Always good.
Always.
Always good.
We'll have to come back and get a workout in next time.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, we got time.
Hey, I got compressions on. Let's go.
I'm dressed up too nice, bro.
See you guys.
Appreciate it.
Yeah. If you gon' go, then go, don't tell me you won't. I want them diamonds on my neck to make me look like I'm cold. That ain't for you and none of these hoes, that's just for me and my bros. I gotta fight for my balls, I gotta stack out this gold. I tell you I'm on a roll, about to get all this dough.